got ramps today, my tattooed granny. Smelling good. The first southeastern Wisconsin morel mushrooms have been found in Rock, Jefferson, Grant, Racine, and Door counties. They are super, super tiny and in microclimates. Right now, the main flush and heavy picking is in central Illinois. Be patient. Walk the trails, but don't trample off the trails. They're little yet. All throughout the upper Midwest, we've had ample rain, which bodes well for a great morel mushroom season here. I'm expecting this dead elm tree to mega fruit for me this year. Fingers crossed. So this here is a hollow stem of invasive honeysuckle, the first plant to green up in the springtime. If you break a branch and see this straw-like hole, you know you've got an invasive species to get rid of. If it's on your property, I'd get rid of it. For other places, you'd have to ask, parks and whatnot. These are its leaves. Just coming. It is windy today. We are out here. I'm just checking my bloodroot spot, and it's ready. Morels are on the way. 7 to 10 days. 7 to 10 days, people. Aren't you excited? I am. Woo-hoo. Okay, this is unopened bloodroot. See how the leaves wrap around the stem? These come up early, and the way they are keeps them from freezing. If the sun comes out, these are going to bloom. 10 days to morel time. Bloodroot. These are going to be beautiful white flowers. When the sun comes out, they'll open, and we will have morels soon. So here I am setting a spell, my morel shirt on, dreaming, and let's talk about precipitation for a minute, hey? It's really good for southeast Wisconsin. We are at 4 inches, 0.23 or something like that for the month of April already. And normally it's supposed to be 3.73, so we are over for precip already. That's epic. Illinois just got dumped. It's going to be good for my Ottawa Festival on May 2nd and 3rd. It's really May 3rd when we're going to do the hunt. And all around the upper third of Illinois should be good. The temperatures look great. It's all like 40s at night, 60s, 70s during the day. More rain is forecast. Nice, slow, even spring coming. There's going to be a lot of morels, people. Please be patient, though. Please be super patient. It's not quite time in this area, in this upper Midwest area, for the big boys. You know, peewees, sure. Microclimates, a few. I'm walking around and seeing signs, you know, about 10 days out, 7 days out. Still about 5 days late from what last year was. There's really no normal anymore because the temperatures fluctuate. We get dry, hot, early springs and this and that. But I'm excited, and you should be too. We're in for it. Good times. Here's the morel mushroom progression map comparison for 2024 to 2025, April 21st. Illinois is still behind, but they're coming. So this is the lilac bud, or lilac flowers. to the seeds. And leaves coming here. So most of the trees that morel mushrooms like are endomycorrhizal. There's also another type called ectomycorrhizal. But the endos include sycamore, ash, and elm, all morel favorites. And now there's controversy that most morels are saprobic now, feeding off the dead roots instead of mycorrhizal, instead of forming that relationship with the roots like we thought for decades. Still might be an on and off switch with those morels where they do both. So they definitely favor certain trees, and if you look for them, you're going to have better luck. So that's what I recommend y'all do. Another thing to notice why we're still too early is there are no other mushrooms out. Usually you're going to find on these really old dead elms, pheasant backs, you're going to find velvet feet growing right on them, saprobically. So also I haven't found the first gyromitra yet, the snow fungus, and that is Gyromitra corfii / montana. I'm going to go look for those in a few days just to see where we're at. But those all come before the morels. Now, like I said, there's fruiting in Wisconsin. These are microclimates, happens every year. Don't get excited, don't lose your patience. Don't get your undies in a bunch. It's not really time yet. Yes, you can walk and look, and you might find a handful of little peewees. Best to stay off the trails if you can. That way you won't crush them. But this is a really nice forest. It's got some old growth, but a lot of open sun areas to warm the soil, and elm all over the place, ash all over the place, and lots of deadies. Oh yeah, we're gonna be in business. I'll show you where the south-facing slopes are. Pretty easy. You'll be able to walk back to your car if you know what direction you started. It's also got a whistle and a thermometer. And it's like $6. Pretty cheap. You can go on Amazon or wherever you want to go. It's a Kugels. I've used them for years. Cheap and easy trick. Lots of dead trees, dying elm, ash. Really good trail here. We're way in the back, checking to see who died over the winter and getting our plans straight here. How we're gonna approach this when they're popping. It's hard to be everywhere. Look at this old dude. Yeah, he gave me plenty. He's about past his prime now. But this forest back here is so good. Try and find yourself a habitat like this. Oh, sorry. Try and find yourself a habitat like this. You know? Now here, this guy. Not this year. He's got a few buds, but by next year, yeah. Looks like last year's yellow oysters. It's a dead elm stump, so that's what I'm thinking, but you know, hard to tell. That's dead elm right there. Some more really prime habitat. Lots of trees, young, but space for sunlight to get in. Morel bonanza potential.
Check out the link in the description box to learn how to sustainably harvest ramps. After cleaning and blanching, you can freeze or dehydrate ramps and use them to make ramp butter, and in cooking. They are delicious and taste like a cross between wild onions and leeks.
So I can plant all these little rhizomes and tops and grow your own ramps. Snip them off and keep them. Once they're cleaned, you lay them out. Get them out, drained. I'm gonna blanch them, and I'm gonna blanch them. I'll blanch all these beautiful ramps that I've cleaned and snipped and rinsed. Oops, sometimes they have this slimy skin on them. I'll get rid of most of that. Clean and you let them air out a little bit. I'm going to bring some water to the boil. Get some nice freezer bags. After we blanch them, we're going to put them in these bags, remove all the air, and freeze. A nice bunch and put them in some boiling water. Took me about an hour to snip the ends off of 2 pounds.
Oh man, just love that smell.
Get them in some shallow boiling water and give them literally like 30 seconds. And then you shock them with cold water. Ooh, the smell is super fragrant. Super fragrant. Shock them with some nice cold water. Okay, so now they're all blanched, and I'm going to take a towel and wring them out dry and put them in the plastic bags. Now I'm going to flatten them out in the bags and get rid of the air. Okay, ready for the freezer. I leave them whole because they look cute on a plate whole. If I make a dish and I want to garnish, you can chop them if you want. Here they go in the freezer.